It's the post-match phone-in. We are going to be discussing Millwall 0, Luton Town 1, and it's a very important 3 points on the board. And with me tonight to digest this game is my co-host, Mark Ryman. How are you getting on tonight, Mark?
We won a game of football! Way!
Can you believe it?
Yes, I'm very good. I'm very relieved. I was having kittens for about 10-15 minutes towards the end of that game, as I suppose everybody was. But yeah, bloody relieved and bloody happy we won a game.
Yeah, honestly, we needed to sort of get that monkey off our back, you know. Really did. And as a reminder to all you people listening, if you want to give us your thoughts, please just request to speak. We'll get you on. We're going for a tight half an hour. However, if we get lots of speakers on, we're happy to overrun, I guess. So, Mark, what were your thoughts about the game today?
I mean, I was really pleased with how we played. It was never going to be an easy game. It was never going to be a game in which we won comfortably. It never is at that ground against that opposition. I think the first half it was a classic away performance. It reminded me a bit of how we played in the Championship the season before last, actually. Just some standout performances. I'm sure we'll talk about a couple of them already. And I think one of them I need to mention is Walsh. Liam Walsh was incredible in that first half, not just setting up Mengi's goal. I know the goal itself was excellent. I thought Doughty was excellent as well on the right-hand side, and Reece Burke is just an absolute Rolls Royce of a defender. I think we kept them to nothing in that half, and created and carved open some good chances. And I think we were a bit more streetwise in the second half than we have been in previous games. We didn't leave ourselves open in the first 15 minutes to concede an equaliser and put ourselves under pressure as much as we did against, say, QPR. And apart from, say, the last 10 minutes, I don't think they even had a shot on goal, really, of any note. I mean, I know they probably did, but it didn't feel threat. I wasn't particularly worried. I think defence kept Kaminsky to very little until that Langstaff chance, which I think was about on 80 odd minutes. So, yeah, I was really pleased. Obviously, there's bits to improve, which we'll talk about, but overall, really, really positive.
Yeah, for me, it was a weird one because Rob Edwards seemed quite dejected in the club media interview. On the Sky one, he seemed quite upbeat, but I don't understand why he was so dejected, because in my opinion, getting 3 points is so important. And for me, the defensive side of that performance until, the Langstaff chance when he was like clean through was really good. Like, we had the better opportunities throughout that game. Like, there was the Liam Walsh chance. Mengi had another chance after his absolute fantastic goal. Chong hit the post. It was all us, really, until the second half.
Yeah, you're right. It was. I guess it's easier, though, isn't it, to pick holes in a performance when you win. He's probably sick of talking our performance up after a gutting defeat. Let's be honest. The amount of defeats we've had, and he's trying to point out the positives apart from the time we conceded goals. He's probably a bit relieved to be able to point out some problems with it after a win. So maybe it's a bit of that. I think there was a bit of naivety in the last 10 minutes, but I think that's like we were saying off air. I think some of that's probably to do with the kind of just that not having won a game for so long, and a lot of the pressure from that. But yeah, I think, as you said, I was really impressed defensively. It was a classic away performance, circa 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, exactly. I actually dropped that in my post-match reaction video that's on our YouTube. You can check it out. When it was always just 1-0 to Luton again. Right. Well, we should probably go to some speakers. And if you want to request to speak, please do. Just hit that request button. We'll be delighted to have you on. But before we go to our first speaker, if you're watching this on our YouTube, please drop a like. It's going to drop on our YouTube pretty much a couple of hours after we hit end recording here on Twitter. Drop a like on the video. It really helps the channel, and subscribe if you want more Luton Town content. There's so much, about 5 or 6 shows a week, interviews with former Luton Town players. We got it all. And also a big shout out to our audio partners, Blackstar Amplification and Carry On, for giving us all the tools to produce a podcast like this one. And big thank you to our podcast sponsors, the Record Shop in Amersham. Wherever you are in the UK, head on down to the record shop. If you collect vinyl, CDs, if you play guitar, they got a wall of guitars. And you know what? You get a discount if you mention the OK Football Show sent you there. Right. So we have Christian. How are you getting on, Christian? Unmute yourself, mate.
Not bad. Very interesting listening to you read off all the sponsors, of course, paying all the bills for OK Football. I gotta say, what a big improvement today was over how the last however many matches have gone. I mean, first win in 161 days. And
when you
the
say
first
it like
time,
that, oh my God.
well, let this sink in. Let this sink in. For right about a week, San Marino had won a football game more recently than Luton Town.
Yeah, but before that, they hadn't won a game for 20 years.
Which makes it worse.
Yeah.
But
No,
anyway,
it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Look, even a broken clock's right twice a day. Like, it was about time that San Marino actually won a competitive game of football. They were playing, who were they playing? They were playing Liechtenstein, not Brazil.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I mean, it was just like a huge improvement, and I think the system for once actually looked really good. You had Dowdy on the right wing, which he just looked so much more comfortable on that side as compared to the left wing where he, is usually at. The midfield seemed really good for a change. Having Morris come off the bench, that was certainly like one of the big changes that we made, and I'm not really sure how much of a difference that made necessarily to the team's performance, but I mean, we played a complete game of football for the first time since Brighton when we won 4-0, and it's nice to see that this team didn't win because of, some luck or because, the opponents were just that incompetent. We won because we played well enough to do so. And, I think that's exactly the kind of, performance we needed, especially with, not having won a match in so long. And
so I will tell you, Brighton was not the last game of football that we won. We actually beat.
No. Of course
end.
not. Of course not. But it was the last time where we kind of played a complete game of football, where it didn't seem like we got our goals through absolute pure chance and we're kind of just hanging on for dear life the rest of the time. As Newcastle was, and immediately after, and of course Bournemouth, was an absolute wreck. But yeah, it's nice to see Luton Town actually winning some matches, and of course with a few more matches that should be of similar results coming up. Hopefully that this could be the first of a few wins before Watford comes around.
Yeah, well, you hit the nail on the head there. We really do need to hit form before Watford turn up at Kenilworth Road, because we've got to make sure we're ready for them. That is a key game for our season. And for me, success this season is finishing above Watford. And to be honest, they actually look like they're going to be quite competitive this season. So, we got to finish above them.
Yeah, I'd like to see us. I still like to see us push. We had a poor start to the season. I'd still like to see us push. You'd hope we'd finish above them lot. Certainly, we have the best chance if we keep playing more consistently. I think. Look, today's game was never going to be beautiful anyway, right?
Hey, it's away at the Den.
Exactly.
It's away at the Den. Like we
Exactly
discussed it on our match preview, didn't we? Like
Ball's never in
one
play.
win in 10.
Yeah, exactly. But the ball's never in play. We can't play our style of football if the ball's out for a throw-in and they're doing a long throw-in and then it's kicked out for another long throw-in, etc., etc. We're not going to play that style. And also, so bereft of confidence from a lack of winning games. The first win we got was always going to be a nervy 1-0, etc., as I was hoping QPR was going to be, and it turns out it's this game instead. It was always going to be like that. Hopefully we can kick on. We've got a good opportunity now against Wednesday next week to do exactly that against a team who's also struggling for confidence and to put some results together. So I think, it's a real opportunity. I think our next 3 or 4 fixtures are very winnable, in inverted commas, games for us. We can start to express ourselves a bit more and dominate matches a little bit more than perhaps we did today.
Yeah, very much so. Thank you very much, Christian, for joining us. Hang
Christian.
around, just mute yourself. And if anyone else wants to jump on, give us their thoughts, please do. Myself and Mark, I guess we'll just talk a bit more about the game today. Yeah.
Happy to.
Yeah, so you predicted a draw for this game. I predicted a 1-0 win. I was right on the money, wasn't I?
I'm so pleased I was thinking that. I was like, please don't be right. Please don't be right. And then, it was when they had, what's his name, Langstaff go through one-on-one with Kaminsky. I was dreading the direct hit of getting that score bang on. I think, we both predicted a tight game. And they always are against Millwall, and you were absolutely right. I think, it's 2 clean sheets in the season already. It's not bad going when you think about it too. I just think there's some players there that since the window has closed have stepped it up. Doughty is clearly one of them. That's his best, for me. I don't know what you think. That is easily his best performance of the season.
It was his dead ball delivery was
always
actually
bang
on the money, wasn't it?
Bang on. I mean, the goal came from the recycling of the ball from a free kick, I believe. Now I'm questioning myself.
No. So it was across from Chong. Elijah Adebayo wasn't in the middle. So then Alfie Doughty had a pop because the ball, Jensen clawed out of the corner.
That's right.
Doughty had a shot. It came out from Jensen to Marvellous Nakamba. Marvellous Nakamba passed it to Liam Walsh. Liam Walsh, what a player! What a player! I love Liam Walsh. And then Liam Walsh lays it off to Tedamengi at the perfect speed for him to wrap his foot around it and bend it into the corner. Beautiful goal.
Yeah, it's a great goal. I tell you what I was thinking of. I was thinking of the Tahith Chong hitting the post. Came from an Alfie Doughty.
That was from a Alfie Doughty free kick.
Yeah,
when McGuinness won it in the air, and he did well to get up above Jake Cooper. By the way, we were very lucky that Jake Cooper went off injured at half-time because it would have made it a bit more nervy, wouldn't it?
Their first corner already had a good sight on goal, didn't he? From their first corner.
If you saw the replay, Jake Cooper had his hands on both McGuinness's head and I think Mengi's head. So. Well, obviously the ref might not have disallowed it, but if there was VAR, it would have been disallowed 100%.
Yeah. Should we talk about the decisions?
Should we mention
the decisions while we're there? Because I think the ref bottled 2 red cards in 2 minutes, if I'm perfectly honest.
He did. One for us, one for them.
One for us, one for them. Absolutely. It's funny how I was watching on TV as well, and it's funny how the commentators didn't even seem to mention the possible second yellow for the Belgian lad who plays for them. I can't remember his name. Casper something, I think. Nori?
Casper Nori.
To Nori, yeah. But two red cards. I think he struggled as the game went on as well. I don't think he was as bad as some people made him out to be, but it was just a bit inconsistent is probably the best word for it.
But these things, they even out, don't they? But I think we got another speaker now. Shall we go to Quinn? Right, Quinn, unmute yourself. Guys. Good evening. Hello.
Can you hear me all right?
Can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I just think the performance today was by far the best game we've had this season. Of course, it's more reminiscent. I think it's more reminiscent of the grit and determination we showed when we got promoted the first time. When we were the first time round in the Championship, when we got promoted, it showed more of that grit and determination. It wasn't a flashy 3-4-0 win. It was really had to dig deep, and it was more of a Nathan Jones game, I feel. It was more of a get the 1-0 lead and just keep it. But I have to say, Liam Walsh was absolutely incredible. he loves to throw himself around, and it's just a joy to watch.
What a signing Liam Walsh has turned out to be. Did you think he was going to have this type of impact? Did you think he was going to go for nearly 90 minutes?
I judging off what Rob Edwards said with he's not going to be a mainstay, he's going to be a squad option. I was thinking, okay, he might get a second half here and there, but to see him actually just the performance he put in, I want him to play more often because
Yeah.
having him and Nakamba as the midfield too, it's just, I think that could be our midfield going forward.
Well, where does Kraus fit in? Do you think maybe
Yeah.
you drop Jordan Clark and play Tom Kraus there? But in reality, didn't you find that Elijah Adebayo was quite isolated up top by himself in the formation that we played today?
Yeah, he was. I feel like he didn't really, well, apart from Chong, he took the ball deep and made his own runs, but Eli didn't really have much for him apart from Alfie Doughty on the right side. So that's a thing where we could say we could move to a back four and have three in the midfield and then potentially have Nakamba, Kraus and Walsh in the midfield three. That's something that I'd really want to see.
It's really tough though. I don't know if Mark agrees, but we've discussed going to a back four many times, but with our defensive options, it's unfair to switch to a back four. Like a 5 at the back, a 5-3-2 makes the most sense, doesn't it?
I mean, it's hard enough to choose with a 5, isn't it? Sorry, Queen. It's hard enough to choose defenders as it is. I mean, when Royal Walters was ill, by all accounts today, I don't know where he fits in at the moment. I'm not dropping Burke. He was our man of the match for me. I don't know where he fits in. So it's hard enough with 5. I don't know how you would pick defenders for 4 at the back at the moment, as much as I would like to see it occasionally.
I think potentially, well, Alfie has showed that he can play on both sides, so.
Yeah, but then where does Victor Moses kind of fit in? Sure, Victor Moses isn't going to come in and drop 9 back-to-back 90-minute performances, but by all accounts, we have so many central midfielders at the moment. It makes sense to play a 3-man midfield. Personally, for me, I'd love to see Kraus, Nakamba, and Chong, because I thought Chong was absolutely sensational today. For me, I'd switch Clark out for potentially Carlton Morris or Joe Taylor, because I feel if you have Elijah and Carlton together, it removes that isolation, especially when you have Elijah and Carlton, because Carlton has that knack to, sure, it hasn't been really on show this season so far, but you can fire a ball into him and it tends to stick more often than not.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And I think even if we do choose to go over front two, I think one of either Carlton or Eli has to start, and even Taylor, because it's that niche of lower league football having a little and large strike partnership. It could really work with us having, say, Eli and Joe Taylor up top, just having the pace of Joe and just the hold up play from Eli could really work.
It's not even lower league football. If you think back to the late 90s, early 2000s, Niall Quinn and Kevin Phillips. Kevin Phillips scored 30 goals for Sunderland in the Premier League. Little and large, it works. Heskey, Owen, it's a combination that stands the test of time. And to be honest, nowadays, there aren't enough of 2-man up top formations these days. I'd love to bring it back.
We played it, didn't we, in the first half against QPR in the Cup, and I thought it was Morris's best game. He was he was back to himself. He could have easily scored. He was brilliant, so much more confident there as well. I just think he's wasted out wide as well. And you're right, it leaves Eli stranded. Just another issue, or not issue. It's nice to have these problems, right, based on form rather than being forced into stuff. But Shanda Baptiste, obviously not in the whole squad today. I'm assuming he's injured. I don't know if there's been an update, so you feel free to let me know. I think actually he's done really well, and it would be interesting to see how well he would do alongside Nakamba as well, considering he was alongside Clark for some of those games. Having that defensive solidity behind him to make those passes would be interesting too. So don't forget we've got him as well. I think that leaves it even more open for a 3 in midfield if he's fit and available.
Yeah, thoughts on that, Quinn? Like, if we do persist with the 2-man in midfield, who would you go for? Nakamba and has to be Nakamba,
Put me
right?
on the spot here, boy.
That's show business, Quinn.
I think for like immediately, I would say, like, if we're just like completely negating like injuries, if everyone's fully fit. I know we haven't seen him play yet, but I'd have to say Nakamba and Kraus.
Yeah, of course you're going to say Kraus. I think that's a very unattacking midfield too, though, because by all accounts, from what I've heard from a friend of the show, Uli Hebel, who works for DAZN as a commentator, Tom Kraus is not a ball-playing midfielder. However, I feel it would work if Chong was directly ahead of them. But it's a good shout. Look, I'm very excited to see Tom Kraus play. I really am. Thank you very much, Quinn, for joining us.
Yeah, I was
really appreciate it.
I was just going to say one more.
Oh yeah, go for it, mate.
I've got a couple of friends who really follow the Bundesliga, and they've all said about Kraus that he was really promising for like a young player, and his defensive ability in the midfield and just sitting in front of the back four, they've said is incredible. So I'm just going off what they're saying to me.
Yeah, of course. Look, he is a destroyer. He was described to me as an anchor. I'm not going to pretend that I watch loads of Bundesliga. I barely have time to watch the English Football League as it is. He is a destroyer. He's not great going forward with the ball. I've been told a lot of German coaches have sort of given up on him, which is a bit of a weird one. But look at that pedigree. Look at that talent. He has played at every level of youth football for Germany. He up to the under 21s where he's played 20 times. He's scored 3 goals. So he's obviously good with his feet if he can score a couple of goals, but he sort of just dropped off the radar because he hasn't fulfilled that early promise. But look, what Luton Town do and what we thrive on is taking those broken things, taking those players that have sort of fallen off, and we make them whole again in a way. Like, look at Alfie Doughty. He was rotting in the Stoke reserves. They'd shipped him off to Cardiff. We picked up Elijah from Walsall. Carlton Morris, yeah, he was scoring some goals. He was at Barnsley. Tahith Chong at Birmingham. Do you think of any others? Ted Mengi, he was sort of rotting in the development side of Man United. He wasn't really getting a fair shake when he was out on loan at Birmingham, Derby. That's what we do.
First choice, was he? Kaminsky was second choice at Blackburn, for God's sake. I mean, how mental does that look?
I know. Look, you can find gems anywhere. And, that is what the recruitment staff do. And we've actually brought in a new recruitment person as well, who was holding quite high positions in Dutch football. So I'm very excited to see where our January transfer window goes. We might not do too much business, but if we do business, we could bring in some youth players from, the Dutch league. Maybe we got our eye on a couple. Who knows? I hope to hear more about that nearer the time. Thank you very much, Quinn. You're welcome back anytime, mate. Really.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. We probably have time for one more speaker. So if anyone wants to jump on, please just request to speak and we'll get you right on. Let's look ahead a bit to Sheffield Wednesday, I guess. So Saturday, 3 p.m.
I know.
Not many of those going around these days.
Like hen's teeth. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think our next home game at 3 p.m. is actually December 7th. It's a long way away.
It's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. But yeah, I think Sheffield Wednesday is, I mean, I don't want to put jinx on it now, but it's a good game to then go into from this one. The way they play football suits us more than Millwall. It'll mean there'll be gaps that open up. They'll try and play on the floor a little bit more. Although I think we defended those long throws and everything else very well. But like you said, Cooper going off made a big difference to that. They've had a terrible run. I think they've got the same. Have they got the same points as us? Maybe slightly less, but yeah, they've not had a great time of it.
Danny Roll's magic has kind of worn off, hasn't it?
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, he's been touted as being the manager, the one to look out for this season, and most people would say if he left Sheffield Wednesday, it would be because someone's plucked him from the top end of the Championship. So it's really interesting to see how they've done. I mean, we know, Coventry know, and other teams know that the first few games aren't any huge indicators towards what's going to happen. But I really fancy it. I think it'll be interesting. Then Krause is likely to be back in the run-in. I really hope to see Brown. I mean, he's been really missed as well. We've had him out for so long, but he had such another dimension. You're talking about Joe Taylor adding another dimension to our play. Jacob Brown does as well. Rob Edwards mentioned, I think, in his post-match, didn't he, about he wasn't happy with the press. Well, if there's one player apart from Eli that can really press an opposition, it'll be Brown. So it'll be great to see that energy as well. And it'll be nice to have some conundrums about who to play that isn't just simply based on who's able to walk to the stadium, without a limp. So it'll be really nice to have those decisions to make, and have those conversations rather than who have we got left to pick, and 3 goalkeepers on the bench or something. So yeah, that'll be great. And talking of keepers, we probably should mention Kaminsky, shouldn't we? 2 phenomenal saves in the game.
Yeah, well, we talked about him briefly, like the Langstaff one. So I actually was watching the highlights back, and when I was watching it live, I didn't really see how much of a touch he got on it with his foot. He didn't, they say goalkeepers make themselves big. He didn't make himself big. He made himself really wide.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. Just on the outside of his boot and turned it around. But I am so happy that when Millwall turned to the bench to bring on a replacement striker for Josh Coburn, they brought on Macaulay Langstaff, and it wasn't Tom Bradshaw. Because Tom Bradshaw always has the knack of scoring against us.
Always scores against us, yeah. Who was their big lad that used to play for them that also used to score against us every single time as well? Can't remember where he's gone now. But he used to be up for another tall, massive striker. Yeah, really tall striker.
Steve Claridge.
No. recent history.
Oh, Teddy Sheringham.
No, all right, okay. Well,
I'm going further back. Now.
I'm thinking in the last few years. Matt, what's his name? Oh, that's going to.
Oh, Matt Smith.
Matt Smith.
Doctor Who.
Yes, that's it. He always used to do. And very different players, obviously, but they both used to score against us at Will, didn't they, for Millwall? But yeah. Yeah, I wasn't watching it either. I mean, it was on in front of me, but I had my hands in front of my face at that point.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
So I just assumed they'd scored, but I wasn't willing to watch it.
Do you remember when England played Germany in? I think it was the World Cup or the Euros, and I think it was what's his name? Thomas Muller was through on goal.
Oh, that was the Euros,
and the ball. Yeah, and the ball just sort of went an inch wide of the post. It was sort of like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember that one. We don't beat Germany very often, a bit like Luton don't beat Millwall very often. But yeah, that was the Italy penalties Euros. Let's put it that way. It was that one. We beat them 2-0, didn't we, in the knockouts? But yes, I remember that well. Yeah, you'd say Thomas Muller, you'd probably expect to score more than Langstaff slightly, just a bit. I think Millwall fans might agree, but yeah, Kaminsky, absolute class, and made up for his kung fu tactics at Portsmouth just on those 2 saves, and the one obviously in the last second from the corner as well. Good reaction save rather.
Yeah, it was very good. I've seen people say it was a routine save, but the reality is 95th minute, packed box. So the ball comes, and to be honest, he sees it so late as well. It was a fantastic save, and the hands he got on it to really get it clear as well. Vital. I don't think my heart would have taken an equaliser that late into the game.
Did you see Alfie Doughty's face when he collected the ball off it? Because it went to Doughty, I think, on the right-hand side.
No, I didn't see.
You could see him visibly going like phew, like looking absolutely like couldn't believe it. Yeah, and then the whistle blew like pretty much immediately after that. But yeah, it was a great save. The keeper was right in front of him as well. Their keeper was in the box, wasn't he? So yeah, that's what you need sometimes. It doesn't matter what league you're in. They're going to get put under pressure if you're 1-0 up in the 80th minute. That's fine. That's going to happen. And I think, yeah, their only chances really came from our own mistakes. So I'll take that over, massive issues with, formation or whatever. So yeah, overall, it was really, really top notch, and can't have any complaints. Really can't.
So true. And there's no reason to be glum, Rob Edwards. You can't win them all 4-3 or, score like multiple goals and concede multiple goals. Just be happy. A 1-0 win. Yeah. That's what we all wanted. That's what we needed just to get up and running.
Absolutely.
So it's probably a good time to close this off, isn't it? Not many people wanting to speak. I imagine everyone's out celebrating, right? Probably got back to Luton. Yeah, they're probably in the pubs.
Or they're still in London.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
London's a good place to go out and drink, why not?
Maybe not Bermondsey. I'm sorry, that's probably mean. I've been to Bermondsey.
Nah, but
it's a lovely place.
From Bermondsey, you can get anywhere
some good pubs.
London.
Yeah, some good pubs. That's true. No, absolutely. I'm sure they're all out celebrating. But yeah, great win. And who knew Millwall, one of the softest teams in the Championship, throwing themselves all over the floor in the first half. But
yeah, that happens. That happens. They were trying to, get some cheap fouls. Fair play. Look, everyone does it. Last season
we did it in the second half.
Chong did it. We did it in the second half.
Of
Chong
course.
did it. The main thing about Tahith Chong is the fact that he doesn't do it in our own half anymore. He waits until he's in the opposition half to give away the ball and get knocked down on the floor, which fair play. Because, if you drop yourself down on the floor in your own half, and you don't win the foul, you leave yourself open to a counter-attack pretty much immediately. Just a brief word on playing out from the back, by the way. I hope we either get a lot better at it or stop doing it. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah. I think, there's been some points in the season where I thought, okay, fair enough. We played out and it's really good. It led to a counter-attack. I think it just needs to be done with a bit more context awareness. That's all. I think it's fine within the context of a game, but when you're 5 minutes away and you're Kaminsky and then you're trying to play a wide ball to Mengi, even though he's got two men on him, like, just boot it, mate. Seriously. Like, I don't get, because even if he does get the ball, like, he's going to immediately be put under pressure and he's on a yellow card. It's just a bit of common sense with that one. I don't think we're going to change completely away from it, but yeah, it was hard to watch at times, us playing around with it and then losing it almost immediately down those sides.
Yeah, it was a rod for our own backs at the
really was.
Throughout the first half.
It really was.
Thank God we're going a bit longer in the second half. But I think we should probably call it there, because let everyone go out and drink. People can watch this again late night on YouTube and also from tomorrow morning. And while I'm talking about our YouTube, if you're watching this on our YouTube, please like this video. It takes a second, and subscribe to our channel for even more Luton Town content. We have loads of it. myself and my colleague Mark Ryman, we do a match preview where we talk about a game. We also have unprecedented access to the Luton Town ladies. It's so great. And I'm not just saying that because I'm with the OK Football Show. It is really that good. We get access to the players, the managers, and you should all be backing the Luton Town ladies because this is the season they go up. I'm telling you. I feel it. Yeah, it really is. And a big shout out to our audio partners, Blackstar Amplification and Carry On, for giving us all the toys to do this show. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And a big shout out to the record shop in Amersham, wherever you are in England. Head on down to Amersham if you collect vinyl. That is the place to go for your vinyl and CDs and guitars. Mention the OK Football Show and you will get a discount. Just be nice about it. But Mark, I think that's all from us tonight.
I think so. Yeah,
3 points in the bag, baby.
Yeah. Bring it on next week. Can't wait.
Yeah. We're going to give him a Danny Roll masterclass. As always, come on, you Hatters.